What is up, everybody? This is Jesse Lee coming at you with another Klaviyo SMS tutorial. All right, and today we're talking about how to create an SMS only welcome series, and this is part 6A of our 7-part series. All right, now I named this 7-part series. This is more going to be probably like 15 or 20 parts, but this is 7 main parts. All right, and 6A is at least one of 3. I'll probably do more. Section 6 is all about creating flows or series, if you want to call them that. I use them synonymously, but these are going to be the most important ones that I see. An SMS only welcome series, or an SMS and email welcome series, and then the last one is going to be an abandoned cart flow, right? So just know that there are multiple parts in this, and if you need the rest of them, please check out the link below. You can find the rest of the videos in this series below. Again, 7 main parts, but right now it's looking like much more than that. All right, last thing before we get started, I want to give a shout out to YouTube user Lovely Lady. Lovely Lady commented on one of my other videos and asked for this welcome flow, so I just wanted all of you to know that if you need, first of all, thank you to Lovely Lady. Very much appreciate that. Second of all, if you need a video on something, please let me know. I love talking about this stuff, so I will totally record one for you. All right, so let's get started. All right, how to create an SMS only welcome series. All right, so why would you want an SMS only welcome series? Well, let me jump into the back end of Klaviyo, and this is my dummy account. You'll see that I basically almost have nobody in this because this is not the main account I use for my email marketing. I use this all for demos, as you can see, list upload demo, all those different things. So now why would you want an SMS only welcome flow? All right, because of this. If you are offering a custom coupon for a specific method of acquisition, right? So what are our methods of acquisitions? We got sign up forms, right? So maybe you have a special, I've got this demo thing here. And what it is a birthday gift if somebody signs up for email, right? Well, if I were to add SMS on this, right, let me just choose a real quick list here. If I add SMS onto this and I offer something else like 20% off, right? Let's say I publish this. Well, what's going to happen when when somebody signs up for this, I can create a 20% off coupon for them, but if I use a 20% off coupon in my email and SMS flow, that coupon won't fire if somebody signs up later. And the reason this is important is this. Let me come over to my email only welcome series. All right, I created one of these before this video so I could demo this. All right, email only welcome series, right? So if I've already got email and I'm just signing up for SMS fresh now, today, let's say on my list and segments, this master, or we have people sign up for newsletter, right? Newsletter is my list. Let's say this is like 10,000 people instead of 1, right? 10,000 people. I've racked that up over the course of a year of acquiring customers, but now I'm just signing up for SMS today. Well, what happens if somebody signs up on this form, right? Well, if I publish this today, anybody already on my newsletter list won't ever see this. And not only that, if this is the same 20% off coupon that I'm offering my welcome flow, depending on how I acquire those customers, I would want to create, for something where people are going through this one, I want to create something that can accommodate when they sign up for email and SMS at the same time. So I would come in here and I'd want to do an email plus SMS welcome flow. However, there are going to be people on your main list, right? If there's 10,000 people here, they've already gone through this welcome flow, so they cannot receive it again because flow triggers that are based on lists cannot fire twice inside of Klaviyo. Remember that. List triggered flows can never fire twice. So once somebody gets on my newsletter, even if they unsubscribe, they'll just be marked as suppressed. They're not going to actually be removed from newsletter unless you manually delete them, which I don't ever recommend doing. But know that if somebody signs up and then they unsubscribe, they've already had this email welcome series. If they subscribe again, this will not trigger twice. This is why if you're offering like 1 coupon in here, right? So we have the 20% off here. If you're offering that and then somebody comes in later and they want to sign up for SMS, this won't fire twice. So you need to create an SMS only welcome series, right? So the way we do that is by coming into flows, and we go to create flow. Now, there are a few different options for this, right? I'll show you a couple. The first thing you could do is, I would say, if you're using Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, anything that Klaviyo integrates with one of their custom integrations, then you can actually just sort, and they will have, you can see it here for Shopify, which is what I have mine integrated with. They have this welcome series here, right? And it already has the flow triggers set. Now I'm just going to call this SMS only welcome series. We're going to hit create flow. Now this flow would be triggered anytime someone consents to receive SMS. All right? So that means it could be this form, right? Or it might be Shopify checkout. Or it might be a different SMS only form, right? So you have to choose which welcome series do you want attached to what form people opt in by, right? So if you wanted this one triggered by this form, I could show you how to do that in a minute. But basically what you want to do is come in here, and here are the flow triggers you want to set up. And by the way, I recommend using these to start with, these pre-built flows, just because they already have the necessary triggers. All right? So notice in the trigger here, in the filters, so let me go into flow filters. We have two triggers. First one is what someone has done or not done. And we have this, okay, they have placed orders 0 times since starting this flow. Right? So what does a flow trigger do? The flow filter, what does a flow filter do? Well, it's going to go and check at every single step if this has been fulfilled. So we could add 20 steps on here, and on step number 19, if somebody purchases, it'll boot them out. Or it's, if at step number 2, if somebody purchases, it'll boot them out. So that's why I recommend having this. Right now we have 2 text messages inside of this flow, and we can add more, right? So let's just keep on adding this. By the way, I don't recommend adding more than 2 SMS per flow. I'm just doing this as an example. But if you wanted to do this here and have a third SMS, if somebody purchases off this second SMS, because you had that flow filter set, it's going to boot them out, and they won't be sent this third message. All right. So again, I only recommend sending 1 or 2 SMS per flow because it's such a personal form of communication. So I'm going to delete those now. But this is a good format that you can start with, right? And then what's the second filter we have on here? Well, this is not a list triggered flow. It is a metric triggered flow. Metrics are different than lists. This one, metric, is when somebody is consented to receive SMS. So the second thing we put on here is if you are, in fact, offering a coupon, you don't want to be able to have people manipulate that. So we add this additional filter here that says has not been in this flow. So I would say if you're building it custom, you can use these same filters, or you could just use the pre-built flows inside of Klaviyo, which I always recommend just because they have everything kind of nice and set for you. Now, there is one thing I would change on this, though. Now, Klaviyo does this. I don't want this to happen, but I would say on your very first SMS, you notice here, when I click on here, it's going to open up your settings over on the side. Klaviyo launched these things called quiet hours. Now, here's the thing. If somebody's signing up, let's say you're offering a special coupon, I would actually say it's probably going to be more beneficial if you leave quiet hours off. Now, what are quiet hours? Let me go into the account here. Let's go into account and settings. I want to show you where these quiet hours are, where you can find them. They're going to be down here. You see quiet hours, you can adjust. In my time zone, they're set from 8 p.m. to 11 a.m., which means if somebody signs up during this time, Klaviyo is not going to send those. They're going to delay it. Now, what's the problem with that? The problem is if somebody signs up on your site at midnight, because that's when they're shopping on your site, and they don't get your 20% off coupon, let's say they're ready to buy. Like, I know a lot of midnight shoppers, and these are parents, right? Parents who, let's say they just get their kids to bed, and the only time they have to go do any online shopping is at 10 p.m. Well, that's in our quiet hours. If they're on my site shopping at 10 p.m. and they're ready to buy, and then they see a coupon for 20% off, and they're like, oh, I really want that coupon, and then they sign up for it, and you don't give it to them right away, then that kind of disheartens them. So on this very first one, I always recommend taking the quiet hours off on that first message. All right? So just keep that in mind. And that's pretty much it for your SMS welcome flow. So if you were building this scratch, again, that's the easy route. But let me show you how to build this from scratch for any of those who don't have Shopify integration, or you want to start from scratch for some odd reason. So you'd come in here and you would just hit create from scratch. SMS only welcome flow 2 demo is what I'm going to call this one. Create flow. And we're going to select our trigger. Again, we want to select metric, and we want to select consented to receive SMS. All right. Now let's add our flow filters. The first one is what someone has or has not done. We're going to say placed order. Again, these are Shopify. You'll notice this is a Shopify metric because that's who I have my Klaviyo account integrated with. But if you're using a different service, that's going to look a little bit different to you. And then we're going to say and has not been in this flow at any time. And we'll hit save on those. All right, so done there. And then we're going to come back in here and we're going to say, okay, throw this SMS number 1 in there. And you can configure the content to say whatever you want. The same coupon codes that you use inside your unique coupon code emails that you've generated with that, they'll work here, right? So I'm just showing you how to build the flow. You can go in the editor and do whatever you want. And then we're going to do a time delay. We're going to say 1 day, 24 hours, right? And then we'll throw another SMS in here. Super easy. Again, inside your filters, I would say on the very first one, at least, come over to the additional filters, turn off smart sending. That won't even apply on this one because it's the first text they'll ever have received. Turn off quiet hours if you're offering a unique discount. And then once you're done with all of these, after you've configured them, I won't be able to do this now because I haven't configured content, but once you do, you click here and just publish these where you see draft, you publish those. And then again, because of those filters, this acts sort of like an abandoned cart. If somebody clicks and they don't purchase within that first day, we'll send them that second SMS. But if they do purchase, we won't send them that second SMS. All right? So with that, we're just about done here on our SMS only welcome series. Again, this is going to kick off anytime anybody consents to receive SMS. If you need to put a filter on here, oh, that's what I wanted to show you how to do. If you need to put a filter on, let's say you want anybody who comes from this flow, right? You want to exclude by flow. What you would do is you'd find this little ID up here at the top. It's in the URL. So notice, go to your whichever form you're using. We're in Klaviyo forms and then / this is the ID, right? So if we want this welcome series to kick off when somebody fills out this specific form, then what we do is come back and then we'd add flow filters. We also want to say properties about someone. So we're going to select the condition and select, okay, properties about someone. We're going to come in here to dimension. We're going to type in consent form ID right there. Boom. And we'll hit equals. That's already autofilled. And then we're just going to hit paste. Boom. And this one, by the way, you'll notice that didn't autofill. Let me show you that again. Notice I have 2 other ones that have autofilled here. Well, the only reason this one hasn't autofilled is because I haven't actually published it yet. So just know that if you have anything currently published, that will actually autofill here. I have these other forms. This one isn't autofilled, so I actually have to paste it in there, and it will appear there once I hit the publish button on that form. But that's how you'd filter by acquisition method. Now, let's say you don't want a Klaviyo form. Let's say you want this SMS only form to trigger just at Shopify checkout. Well, you're actually going to, instead of consent form ID, what you're going to search for is consent form method. and then select doesn't equal, and then Klaviyo form will auto-populate here, right? So any Klaviyo form, this will exclude every single Klaviyo form. And so the only thing left that this is going to fire on is your SMS consent at checkout with whatever service you're using, whether it's Shopify or anything like that. Anytime you get consent that is not through one of your Klaviyo forms or some sort of Klaviyo method, this welcome series would kick off, right? So Shopify checkout or WooCommerce checkout, BigCommerce, why would you want to do that? Well, because on those, you might not be able to advertise a coupon. You might not want to give a coupon, in which case you could create this welcome series without a coupon, right? Coupon's just one of many things that you can offer in a welcome series, right? So that's how you would do that. Again, consent method. That didn't save on me, so we're going to say does not equal Klaviyo form. We'll hit save. So this is going to give, this is going to fire for your consent at checkout. All right, so that's about it. In the next video, we're going to be talking, again, where's my other slide here? Let me go back to my other slide. In the next video, we're going to be talking about how to create an email and SMS welcome flow. Believe it or not, it's even easier than this. And then, again, comment below if you want an answer on something. And also, I've been doing this for a little while. I'm starting to get people hitting me up for stuff. I'm going to try to come up with some sort of free thing for you to check out, whether, I don't know, some sort of ebook or something like that. If you have any questions or you want a more in-depth course on this or something like that, I want to give you some free thing. So I don't have it published right now at the time of this video, but check back. If you want something, comment below, and I'll try to come up with some special training or an ebook or something for y'all. And then, so check in the description for that. And then click on this next thing to go to the next video and see our next awesome part on Klaviyo SMS. All right, with that, I'll talk to y'all in the next video.